So good morning. Welcome everyone to our Wake Up Wednesdays with Marques. I'm Emily Cabbage, Senior Director of Marketing over at NAIFA. Glad to see everybody here today. And hopefully, if you were not at Apex, you missed out on Marques. But if you were at Apex, definitely got a treat to see him in person. So Marques, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. Hope everybody's doing good today. As always, want to start off with, how the month going, wins, or any challenges you're trying to get through. I'll just work my way across the screen. Karina, you're up first. Like anything good you want to share with the group, and then any challenge you'd like to kind of work through or talk through.
Sure. Just Apex was amazing. So that was a great week. I came home and had at our women's chamber conference. We have a fairly large chamber of commerce, and so I had the opportunity. I serve on the committee for that, so I had the opportunity to be with the main platform speaker for that and spend some time with her. She's actually from Downingtown. Her name's Jen Kronberger. If anyone gets to hear her, she's awesome. So just awesome presentations and things held. I actually won Carson Porter's Rev Pro subscription for the year. So I'm so excited for that. And finding different ways to add life insurance and annuity sales into our business on a consistent basis, because we do that. But, my main focus is property and casualty. And so I'll do life insurance or annuity sales if they fall into my lap, but otherwise we don't do much of that. So super excited to have Carson's group for a year to see how that goes with me and growing our business and following up on leads. We did 3 events in 3 weeks. One, we probably have about 750 leads of people that Trisha or I spoke to from 3 weeks of work. So just kind of making that a practice every day to call a couple, right? So, and not just call them once, because I don't buy something the first time somebody calls me, or, I have multiple conversations, and trying to remember that and keep that into our business, that we do need to follow up or figure out a time and have a conversation of when to follow up, right? When's the renewal for this? When would be a good time? So it's consistent communication and putting them into our email list and getting those things out. So just working on the processes really is, we didn't have a great sales month for September. I didn't like the numbers that were in there, but I also feel like I worked about 2 weeks. So, also trying to figure out how to, in the past, usually when I'm traveling, I have like the best sales month, like the week if I'm out for one of the weeks, usually, I have one of the best sales months when I'm out, because I'm just trying to catch up and finalize things before I leave. So, trying to figure out a little bit of what was missed in September, that it wasn't one of our best sales months, but also just letting go and moving on, not dwelling on it a lot. So that was what I got going on. Looking forward to last quarter. So
Love it. And so was that Carson? Is that like, Carson out of Omaha you were talking about?
yeah,
Yep.
Carson,
Good,
or
good,
no,
good.
Carson Porter.
Okay. Okay.
He's
Tell me more about
from,
that. I love it.
He's from Utah.
yeah.
He was at Apex too. Yeah, real go-getter.
Nice. Real good.
Yeah,
Real
yeah.
good.
He's been doing great things for NAIFA membership lately too. So we appreciate that.
Love it. Nice.
Yeah.
Very good, Karina. I like Karina. What I really like is that things aren't where you want them. But like you said, you're moving on. You're not worrying about, oh, Samantha, congratulations, new baby life. Hey, love it. Congratulations on that. That's always fun. So hope the little one is doing well. But Karina, that's awesome, because you're seeing a challenge and you're not just sitting around waiting for things to go away. You say, okay, well, you're moving on, but here's what we're going to do. And I love the fact that you're out there getting in front of people, calling people, because today, that's what I'm talking about to Jamie's people, about building your connection, kind of like Apex, but then going to later about servant leadership and how to have a mindset to push through. So this is really good, Karina. I like that you're just moving on. You're doing things to kind of, add to, more people in the pipeline. We always talk all the time. When your pipeline is brewing and full, the chance of conversion goes up. I want to show you guys, write this down, guys. I got this from Scott Page, saxophonist from the legendary rock band Pink Floyd, okay? This works very, very well and what you're trying to move into different spaces, okay? The S is story. As Scott said, you need to share your story with people. What I found very interesting about Scott, when they were touring with Pink Floyd for like 2 years straight, he said he was reading every business book he could read. And he actually, Emily, took a company public in the late 80s. He took a technology company public on the NASDAQ. A lot of people don't know that. He also invented like one of the first like touch cartoons with the young voice. This guy was a kid at the time of Howie Mandel. So, I mean, it's just like you don't even think about that, right? The P says plan, right? You have to have a plan of what you're going to do, how you're going to operate, how you're going to be strategic, how you're going to be tactical, all those things. The A is army. He talked about building up your army, those people that get to know you, like you, what you're all about, that you connect with, that you can do business with, okay? The C is conversion. He says if you have a strong army and you're always sharing your story with them and what you're planning, then you can get them to convert easier than people that don't know you. And the E is educate/execute, okay? So it's all about that. No problem, Jennifer. Take care of business. But again, so that's a huge factor, okay? Story, plan, army, conversion, educate/execute. So as you're moving to different spaces to connect with people, use that nice system. It'll help you generate, we feel, a lot more leads, which makes a lot of sense, okay? Mark, you're up, sir.
Good morning from the West Coast.
What's up, sir?
Yeah. So it's like turning the ship, and the ship is trying to turn the ship where we're trying to do a new business model of marketing, online marketing via YouTube, Facebook, instead of person to person. And so I talked about last time, we're getting closer to starting to execute weekly YouTube streams going out during the Medicare season here. And not talking all Medicare. I'm going to get around that, but we're going to capture people that are interested in looking at healthcare in retirement and have a live stream going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday through the month of October. And so bringing that out and then dropping mailers in a certain state as well to help facilitate those direct conversations to have. So getting that direct sale model back up and going. It's been dead for about 12 years for me. And so utilizing video as either pre-recorded or live streams as a way to engage with people. And so it's been a long time coming, several years in planning this. It's like turning the ship, and I'm hoping that here in the next couple of weeks when we start launching with mailers as well as live streams, that we'll start to see the calendar filled up with appointments.
Love it. And Mark, I want you to write this down for yourself, okay? This is very important. The key to what you're doing is it's going to be just making sure that your personal brand is one that people recognize and know. And that's a big factor. So like my good friend, Emily knows Jamie Hopkins pretty well. Jamie has built a brand that is more well-known than the services that he provides for his clients. And it's all positive. He's always traveling here. He was at FutureCon. He went to a festival with his lovely wife. He was at a big finance conference in Austin, or I think in San Antonio, somewhere in Texas. And, he's doing things, he's all he was at another conference. He's always putting out content that gets people to know his brand, right? And we're going to be talking about that a little bit today near the end of the call. Your personal brand, right, Mark, is what people think of you. So my 3 core values for our personal brand: authenticity, unbreakable mindset, relationship building. Boom, 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 right? And when you know what those are, people get to recognize you in that fact. And when they see your stuff, right, Mark, oh, it's Mark the da-da-da-da guy, or it's Mark the this is how he lives guy. And then they're like, okay, well, I align with Mark's values, or all or one or whatever the case may be, he's a guy I want to sit down and do business with. That's why Jamie and I are such good friends, because his brand of being authentic is that's my number one core value.
What was the second one you mentioned?
Sure. So authenticity, then I've got unbreakable mindset,
Okay,
and then I've got relationship building.
thank you.
Okay.
Yep, I think that should come across well on the live streams. People can see that, and as we know, with that constant. I just got off of a webinar where we do the software, and the guy says, I went live for 30 days after the class to get going with it. By going live like that, you tend to start to build stuff every single day. So
Love it.
all good.
Well, the good thing is, right, Mark, is like the same thing I'm talking about. These people is they're in your field, insurance, finance. So it really, like I said, Jamie has literally been doing this for, he's only probably early 40, 41, somewhere around there. So it's very applicable in that regard. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Awesome. Awesome. And then any challenges, Mark, you're trying to get through, anything that's kind of giving you a little bit of a hiccup, or you're trying to just kind of work through?
Yeah, it's the alternate. I have my guys working for me with whether building mailers or building landing pages, and it can't get done fast enough. I just sit there and struggle with, okay, let's get this done, right? Let's get this done. I'm waiting on others too. I've laid out the groundwork for it. It's like, okay, but it'll get there. It'll get there.
Yeah, very good, very good. Well, I know the big thing, right, is, for that, Mark, it's just having the mindset to realize that it's not going to happen overnight. People say, Marcus, how did you get to this point where you're speaking and this and that? I'm like, well, you know what? I've been doing it for 11 and a half years, number one. Number two, we built a really good team. And number three is you have to have patience. I mean, you can't try to push people to make them go. When you push people, I call it you're hunting. You should be farming, not hunting. Farming takes a lot more time, a lot more effort, but it's a lot more consistent if you actually just stay with the plan of farming and not trying to be a hunter at all times.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Richard, how are you, sir? You're on mute, Richard. There you go.
Okay.
Now you cut your camera. There we are. How are you, sir?
I'm exhausted. I'm here in Tampa, Florida. So
Oh,
we
wow.
have.
I'm sure
Yeah,
you got a lot. How are you guys doing with everything from the hurricane?
My house is fine. It's not my first rodeo with a bad storm, but this one was 10 times bigger than normal. I'll say it that normal because it is a normality. And just people have got their clocks cleaned. I talk to clients from the morning to 11 to 12 at night. And I will say half of it is coaching them through. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of agents out there that are crappy because they're trying to scam people. Or they don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, I had one wife of one client, and her husband works with.
Did he freeze?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he froze. Okay. All right, we'll come back to him. Hopefully he gets it won't be froze forever. Jennifer, I see you're off mute. Are you able to talk now, Jennifer? Are you still with your client?
Okay.
No, I'm on my way to my client. I can speak.
Okay. All right, good. So Jennifer, we'll come back to Richard. Actually, Richard, are you there now, Richard?
I'm here. Can you?
Okay,
good.
You were freezing. Okay, continue.
Yeah.
You froze for a little bit.
So it's just there's a lot of fellow agents out there that don't know what they're doing, and they're giving bad advice to people that have gotten hurricane damage. Pretty crappy. I mean, I got a PNC agent who's telling the husband who he and his wife now are not talking, and they're good close friends of mine, and telling him, oh, we can make the check out payable to you because of your flood policy. Well, he wrote the flood policy wrong. In Florida, you got to look at the deed and in the title and everything, and his and her name are on it. And he's telling his wife, check's going to come to me and I'm going to spend it. I want to, and I had to get my PNC expert, my partner in crime, and get her to talk to her and tell her, oh, no, that doesn't work that way. It's whatever the title is based on what the county courthouse has got. So you go back to that agent and tell him you will be on that check as long as with your husband's name, and you do anything different than that, you'll be dealing with my attorney. I mean, it's brutal. There's agents out there that have written flood policies and all sorts of policies, and they're not written right. They did not write them right. And what flood policy reads one way and the homeowner's policy reads it different. It's frightening. But
well, let me ask you a question, Richard. How can you do what you can do and just try to help people to the best of your ability? What are you able to do the best you can?
That's all I can do. I get people calling up, they got other agents. I coach them along and say, hey, ask your agent this, ask them this, ask them this. If they give you this answer, do this. If they give you this answer, do that. I tell them it's going to be fine. It's going to take a while to get the checks. Just do the best you can. It's a lot of coaching emotionally and walking them through a very crappy process, because nobody ever wants to file a claim, let alone realize your house has had 3-4 feet of water in it, and the house is worth $1 million. And yeah, all your stuff is ruined. They don't know the word mitigation. No agent. It's amazing how many agents never tell them, if you have something like this, you're supposed to mitigate the damage. Otherwise, they're not going to pay for half of it because you didn't mitigate the stuff. You want the whole wallboard replaced, and it doesn't need to be replaced if you mitigated it. All sorts of stuff like that. It's really scary to see how fellow agents are selling policies, but really not talking to people, about stuff about them, or on the phone calling them up and telling them, this is what you got to do. This woman had no idea she needed to do she's calling me in the middle of 3 feet of water, that night of the storm after, went on down the road. And I'm telling her this, when the water level goes down, you got to take the baseboards off. You got to take any damn stuff, all of these things. And she goes, didn't your agent tell you this? No, we can't get a hold of them. And then nobody ever said anything about that. And I said, well, that's what you got to do. So I'm doing somebody else's job who's getting money. I'm really upset over that, but that's another conversation. But, I'll catch up with that guy in a meeting and I'll call him off to the side and say, either you do it right or get out of the business because you're making it bad for everybody else. But
yeah, I agree. Well, I think it's very important that you continue to move forward and do the best you can.
Yeah,
I think that's really important. That's all we can do. That's all we can do.
That's all I can do.
That's all any of us can do, right, Richard? It really is. So,
right.
So today you all were talking about personal brand. So we're going to start with Karina, and then we'll come over. I'll mark back to Richard. So Karina, when you think about personal brand, right, Karina, what do you think about, or what stands out to you when you think about, or you hear that phrase, or those two words, or I'll say the phrase, your personal brand?
For me, what I think about personal brand is, your essence, your being, what people see when they meet you. So, for me, I've been told a lot from people, from my clients and from friends, my personal brand should be like that I handle it, right? So, and it might not be that I do it, but like I make sure it gets done. And it's like a joke now between a group of friends and some of my clients that are also clients, and they're always like, oh yeah, Karina, she'll handle it. Like, it's just, if they want the truth, if they want something done, if they want to know how to figure it out, that's me. Like, they come to me and they're like, all right, well, we'll just ask Karina, she'll figure it out. Like, she'll handle it. If it's not, and it might be me doing it, it might be me delegating it, and it might be me having a hard conversation with somebody on how to do it.
Oh, all right. Nice. I like that. So I have a question for you, Karina. All right. What are 3 core values that are the essence and the major foundational pillars of your personal brand?
I don't commit to something unless unless I'm going to do it. So follow through, I guess,
So, okay,
commitment.
so write that down. Follow through is your number one core value. Okay. What's your second core value?
Honest.
Okay, write that down. Honesty is your second core value.
Open. I'd like to see both sides. Like, I might not agree, but I can be respectful.
How about open-minded?
There we go.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Now, I'm going to come to you in a moment, Mark. Before that, question: do the core values of Karina Hatfield, who she is as an individual, match up with the core values of Karina Hatfield's business that she runs? Excellent. Excellent. All right, good. We'll come back to you in a moment. This is good because here's the thing, right, Karina? It's all about you, right? You're the one that has to have the brand, and everything that you do underneath that is an extension of you. And that's what people need to get to know, because if they can get to know that, then everything else that you do, your insurance or the calls or the events you throw or the events you go to or the boards you're on, so on, so on, so on, nobody questions what you're doing because they know who you are. Like Jamie, honestly, I think right there, I don't question anything that Jamie is involved in, right? I don't. Because if Jamie's involved, that means it's got to be, to me, 5-star. Until I see otherwise, it's 5-star in my mind. Okay? Mark,
Yep.
You're up, sir. When you hear your personal brand, what do you think about in that regard?
Well, I mean, this is a good exercise because safety, security, and control comes to mind because the brand is Safe Money Matters. I've been through a few iterations of it, but I've settled in on Safe Money Matters as I deal with the retirees. So everything's about safety, security, and being able to control it. But just what I heard here, this needs more think through stuff. This needs more contemplation, but to be there for people, because you hear that before, you know, when you're putting these contracts in place, long-term care contracts, life contracts, annuity, whatever. Mark, are you going to be there? It's like, well, if I'm still walking this earth, yes, I will be. So, you know, so I've got to figure out the three: safety, security, and control is fine, but I've got to incorporate that tenacity to be there for people. I've been here for 20 years for people. Plan to be here for another 20 years for people.
So would you say that tenacity is something that you feel is very high? Would you say tenacity might be your number one?
Yeah, it would be, because there's contracts coming up, long-term care contracts particularly, that are, you know, there's difficulties working with the insurance companies. I don't have to work with them. Going back to what the other agent said, you know, there's agents that sell these policies and they walk away. Well, 15, 20 years, I'm still here. I'm getting paid a little bit on it, but I'm still fighting to make sure that things are getting done right with the insurance company.
Okay, so tenacity is your number one. Write that down. Okay, Mark?
Got it.
All right. All right. Now, what do you think about you as an individual that really makes you who you are? Tenacity is fantastic. I mean, I know this is not what I would say, but like, you know, I'm early riser. I mean, like, you know, you're somebody that's going to, you know, be there and, you know, don't make excuses. I mean, like you're up at 6 a.m. your time on these calls consistently. So consistency could be another one. You know, what do you think about, Mark? It also represents you in that facet when it comes to your core values.
Well, one of the things I do like, Marcus, is relationships. There's agents that just sell, they move on, sell and they move on. That's not me. I like to build a relationship. How's things going? What other problems can we solve?
So make that number 2 for you, but put relationships and then put / transformational. Because what I'm hearing is, right, Mark, you're all about changing people's lives for the better.
Yep.
And that's big, because a lot of, so for example, right, Mark, I had dinner last night with a client, him and his wife. I'm in Drexel Hill. They drove about an hour to meet me for dinner. We went to a little restaurant right up the street from my hotel. We had a nice time. I met his wife. You know, we were just out there, you know, playing trivia. We literally sucked last night. Like we got, like, it was the worst. It was all about Italy theme, like geography, food, movies. I'm like, are you kidding me? Do I look Italian to you? Like, this is not going to work. So we were in last place. We sucked, but we had fun. And that's the type of transformational approach I have with Coach Ken and his wife. And it makes the difference, right? It's easier for us to sell to a existing client or prospective client if they know that what we're all about is they're getting, like I said, it's them getting better for the long. Like when I talked this morning, hey guys, everybody, I'm here for you. I'm here to transforming you into the individuals that you want to be for your role with Bryn Mawr Trust, WSFS Bank. And let's talk about how you all can connect. And it goes into that, right? So I like that. So what do you think about something else, Mark, around a third item? Like, what do you think about really makes you who you are when it comes to, you know, what you do as in this business?
Well, and so I am all about security and control, right? It's insurance contracts. That's what I do, is insurance contracts. So it's not, I don't have to ever look anybody in the eye and say, oh, I'm sorry, I lost your money, right? That's not me. I don't have to do that. So everything they've gained so far in life, we're not going to lose that money.
And how about you're a protector?
Protector. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so you can play with that, but that's something. So again, right? You look at, you know, these are your tenacity, right? That's something that you're really big on. You know, relationship / transformational building, something you're big on, right? And then really getting to the heart of it around protecting people and their assets and what they have and all these type of things. It's awesome. Okay. And so my question for you is, right, Mark, do these core values match up with your business and the reputation that you want people to know and or respect of your business?
Well, these need to be clearly communicated, particularly in all communication, namely the live streams or whatever, succinctly put together very, very shortly, you know, in a short manner. It has to be very succinctly communicated in that manner. I will, and this is good that you're going over this, because of the fact I believe we're going into an arena in this industry where more and more of things can be automated. All these seniors are being hit with all these TV ads. People are making decisions based upon insurance policies purchased over the TV 1-800 number, and it's going to get bad for these folks because they don't have a relationship with an agent. They just don't have relationships with agents. So anyway, it's going to be interesting moving forward.
Well, it's interesting, right? You know, everybody, that's why I'm sitting in this hotel room. I mean, Emily will tell you, I'm sitting here because of the relationship that I have with Jamie Hopkins, right? I don't know anybody. I mean, now I know not everybody, but I know people in this room building, right, that work in marketing, things like that. But I didn't know a soul until I got here. I didn't know a soul until Jamie got the job as the CEO of Bryn Mawr Trust. That's how I got here. The relationship. I've known Jamie since 2019. And so this is what people need to remember. It's not about, as I'm telling people, to build authentic connection, it takes patience. And to be able to have really good patience, you have to have a strong mindset. It's not going to happen when you want it, or honestly, a lot of times when you need it, right? It's just not going to happen that way. But you got to have the mindset to stay the course. Because if you do, good things happen. If you don't, then people see that all you really want is your own money, which is why, right, Mark, for 2.5 years, I didn't get one paying client, coaching, speaking, anything, because I was all about the money. I was hunting. I wasn't farming.
Got it.
Okay. All right, Richard. Absolutely. Richard, when you think about your personal brand, my friend, what comes to your mind in that regard?
Well, I've got 3 things here. Client first, client centered, honest, an educator.
So what was the second one?
Honest.
Good. So client centered, honest, educator.
Right.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Please elaborate.
Well, the client first, client centered is what we all should be doing, but we know the majority of agents don't, or they pass it off to somebody else. So I tell my clients right up front, this is how it is. If you're going to be evasive to me, I call you, you don't call me back, we're going to move on. And I set that ground rule up right up front. And I tell them, and I'm going to be calling you in the evening and on weekends. I don't want, if something I need to call you, it's because I need to talk to you. If you blow me off or can't come up with some time, I don't care if you're on vacation in London, you're going to find some time, because I'm only calling you because I have to talk to you, either to inform you or to get a decision. So if they don't want to play that, and my clients, I will tell you, oh, no, I stop whenever you call me. I know, because it's going to be valuable and important. And then the honest aspect of it is the industry's already got a tough problem with it, is because agents sell and move on. They don't care about what's in the wake, because some sales manager's telling them, oh, don't worry about it. You'll sell 100, and if you keep 40, you win. I like to sell 100 and keep 100. That's my mindset. I explained that to clients. So I said, if you don't want an agent like that, then we'll part ways. And the educator and the educator part is to help them, not that they want to know, but educate them as far as they need to know, to either solve things on their own or not worry about something happens, because they know what they got to do. It's nothing worse than somebody having a car accident and they go, what do I do next? Well, calling the police is one. Number two, don't give out any information to anybody. Don't do this, but do this and do this and do this. People are confused about insurance is complicated at the end of the day. If you really read a policy, it's not written for you and I, it's written for lawyers, period. Conversation ended. So if you can tell them and show them that it is, these things are in there, but you've got to participate in the process. That's that education one. That's what I was doing with, in the middle of a storm, the lady's showing me 3 feet of water, and I'm feeling for her. And I said, calm down. I said, now here's what you're going to do when that water goes away. Do this. I gave her action plans. That helped her, because then she saw a light at the end of the tunnel with all this water. I mean, literally, she was up to her kneecaps. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. And being able to give her focus on, just, you can't control it, so don't worry about it. And, I try to tell everybody, don't worry about things you cannot control. I mean, I try to live my life like that. It's a wasted effort. So those are the 3 things I have as core values. I'm looking through many things, but I really think those are the 3. I'm focused on clients. So if they don't want me to be focused on them totally, then when we part ways, it's all good. Because it's going to waste my time down the road when something happens.
I agree. So now we're going to go from your core values. So again, my authenticity, strong mindset, unbreakable mindset, relationship building. Okay. So now we're going to talk about your target client or audience. So for me, I look for high achieving individuals that want to increase their business acumen or grow their business, grow in their speaking career, or improve and or enhance their leadership skill sets. Now, does that mean that I will not take on other clients? Absolutely not. I will work with people, again, that feel that what their challenge is has some sort of relation or some sort of alignment to our core values, which again, that's why our podcast is such a huge thing, because it is the title contains the #1 core value of our brand. So it's so easy, right, Mark? Right, Richard, right, Corinne, to tell people, hey, this is who we are. Oh, by the way, check out our podcast, Get Authentic with Marques Ogden. When I created it, I really hadn't done this exercise, but it works out perfectly because there's an alignment. Okay. So now, Karina, when you think about your target client or audience, right? Who is that, or who do you look for to try to serve? Now, again, we talked about, doesn't mean you won't take on other people that come to you, but who are you actively trying to go out and seek that at the same time, right, Karina, that you have a strong feeling will try to refer you business as well?
I would say younger families and people who are like first-time home buyers, because I want to start, I enjoy starting with a family when they're first starting out, so I can stay with them and sell all the ancillary products as they move through their life cycle. we're a generational business. So, I mean, we naturally get the generational stuff coming in, but those young families and small, like mom and pop business owners, people and people who are just starting out. A lot of insurance agents and advisors don't want to work with someone who's just starting out because it's really hard to place that business and do that work. And I don't mind doing that. And it goes a long way. And I keep a lot of business that way. Like I might write a work comp policy with the state and not get paid anything for a year, but they appreciate that and they know I'm not getting paid anything and I'm there to help them. But they'll stay with me because of that.
Awesome. And it's interesting you talk about, so how's this sound, Karina? Your reputation of your organization has a generational component that people, when they think about generational aspects, wealth, preservation, passing down, lineage, how do you want to think about that, right? Your brand automatically, people think about that, which is great. And now we're taking what your other core values are, and we're now trying to take those and connect and or align them to the people that you are targeting, young professionals, young families, to do business with. So I have a question, Karina. Of your 3 core values, now again, you don't know this, but you can just kind of do research or gather some data, get some impulsive information. What do you feel is the number 1 of the 3 core values that would fit and would really connect well with the young families, the young professionals, the young business people that you want to kind of, maybe like make like your signature value to connect with them?
I would say honesty. They all kind of apply, but probably honesty.
They all do. They all do apply for sure. But when they all apply, but what happens, right, Karina, is when you're trying to build with people, you want to be as direct as possible, trying to figure. And now, of course, you can have the others be part of your messaging, but you want to lead for that group with that core value because you believe that is going to be the most impactful and the most create the most synergy.
Yeah, I would say honesty, because I'll tell people, especially those business startups, like it's not easy. I can't just, I explained right from the get-go, like I can't just take some information or a fact finder and within a day figure out a carrier. It's going to be a back and forth, and I understand that, and it could be annoying at times and all that stuff, but I'm upfront about that, not like, oh, let me just fill out this fact finder and I'm going to spit out 5 quotes for you. Like it's going to take a lot of time and it's going to take some work, but I'm here and I'm committed to do it and find you the policy that's best for you, not just the first one that I get a price for.
Emily's shaking her head. That's what people love. See, Karina, people say, well, Marcus, where do you pick this information up? Well, I try to pay attention. I try to listen to people, and I watch people's bios, and it was like, yep, because again, as Richard said and Mark said, most people in your field aren't doing that. So this is why you want to lead with that core value. You have other ones, of course, but the lead is going to be who you want to connect with. That needs to be the press. Now, if you have a different group and you think that will connect with them better, you can then change your content to fit that target group by using that other core value first, right? It all blends in. Okay, very good. Mark, so who would your target audience be, Mark, based off, what you've done so far in your business?
That's a good question. In fact, I was going to this, which kind of client we talked about, who does the brand represent, but now we talk about what are the values of the clients, right? What kind of client values do you want? And so I rattled down a few of them here. Number 1, ones that love their families or love others. Nothing worse than working with somebody that's stingy. I've done that before. Number 2 is who have worked to save for the last 30 years. And number 3 is who's willing to learn for the next 30 years how to efficiently spend their money. So anyway, those are those that love their families, those that have done a decent job or a willingness to do some kind of saving for the last 30 years, and those that would desire to spend efficiently for the next 30 years. Learn
Perfect. So if you're looking at your target audience, right? Which of the core values, you have 3. Again, you can always use all of them. but which are the core values which you say you want to lead with that you feel would connect and or resonate most with when it comes to, that group?
I think it's those that would desire to learn. If you don't have anybody that, if they don't want to learn, right, then it's just, this is a hopeless thing. I'm a teacher, financial literacy, etc., doing efficient things that you can't find over on the talking media heads. They're not talking about this stuff. So how do you do a desire to learn and trust?
So Mark, I want you to write this down. The core value you would lead with, my friend, is the transformational relationship value. Because like you said, you want people who are all about getting educated, who are all about wanting to learn, all about wanting to become better. And that's what transformational is.
Gotcha.
And that's what that's all about. Okay?
Thank you. Yep.
Awesome. Richard, who is your quote unquote, audience, that you're trying to connect with?
Most of my business has come from referrals of people I know, or believe it or not, even other agents. So it's not, I'm not out hunting. They actually come to me. I'm trying to do that. But I do most of my businesses in employee benefits. So, if you've done any of that over the years, we used to get paid really, really well with a lot of commission. Now they kind of don't even want us. They tolerate us. So I'm trying to leverage now over more into the property and casualty end of things, because right now I just refer that to my work wife, I call her, and she takes care of that. And I hate what she does and she hates what I do. So it works out really, it's a good marriage. And, and then she's banking everything. I call it, type scenario. So I really don't, I get most of them from referrals, because right now it's just me, myself, and I in the office. So I don't have any type of administrative help. I did do it one time, and it was a lovely person. And then after 2.5 months, she says, "I'm sitting here for 4 hours a day doing nothing." Well, yeah, I know. I'm answering the phone. Yeah, I know. But they were calling my cell. And she goes, "You wouldn't mind?" I says, "I wouldn't fault you one bit, because you got to be bored out of your brain." And I really didn't have much to give her to do, because that's my lead source was from other agents who hate what I do. And I'll be honest, sometimes I hate the things that they do. So it works out great. I got the license so they can pay me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let me ask you a question, Richard. Of the 3 core values, you had honesty, client service, and I believe the last and education, correct?
Yeah, educator. Yeah.
Yep. Which of those do you feel you would want to use and have be the lead when it comes to, that core value that's going to connect best with that audience?
I would say, with all of that, the client, the client first, client center piece. Now, yeah, everybody talks it, but I would always I would follow up with that with saying, "Let me explain to you why I say that," because they have to get the why I say it. Otherwise, it's just the same noise that everybody else is barking, but they don't follow through with. It's crap. And once I explain it to them, they go, "Well, now I get it." Because it's going to be I can see in their eyeballs that, well, other agents have talked that way, but they don't deliver like that. And that creates the wedge, the hole in between, where I can start prying it open and get them to, to decide to work with me. Or I tell them, if you don't want to work with me, I understand you got a relationship with the other person, but anybody you meet on your travels, do send them my way, because I will give them this type of, experience. And I use that word experience. It's not a transaction, but I say, I'll give them this type of life experience, and it's just, that's my approach. It's a 24-hour approach.
Love it. So now, Karina, coming back to you, we've identified your core values. We've identified your target audience. So here's my question: why you? right? What is your unique selling proposition that allows you to stand out head and shoulders above the rest of the people that you are trying to work with?
The first thing that comes to mind is like, I'll handle it. I'm not going to give up. So like, I'm not going to get one declination from a carrier and just be like, oh, sorry, I can't find something. So I'm going to exhaust all of my options. And if it's something that I can't handle, I'm going to refer you to someone who can. So at the end of the day, you're going to have something from me or from a trusted friend.
Yeah. So how about this? So would you say that your unique selling proposition is you deliver value and service above self, and will always be sure to give clients what they need, regardless of it being your financial gain or not?
Yes.
So you need to say that.
All right, so
I'll
I'm gonna
tell
have to
you,
listen to the re-recording so I can hear you say that and type that all out,
I
right?
can say it right now. Most people are all about themselves and putting it in their pocket, right? And I have a friend of mine who is in like he does like like insurance, stuff like that from the medical side. How so many people in that business, it's not illegal, but it is immoral, will get people to pay on both sides, the insurance claims, and they're double dipping on both sides, from the client side and from their own side. And they're taking away from people. People don't even realize it. And again, we chat about that. Said, man, you should be telling people that you all don't do that. You don't take from clients when it's not necessary. And that's something you all can really hang your hat on, because a lot of people in your field will be all about themselves. It's like when I go out and fly somewhere, and Emily probably knows this, for clients paying for it, right, like direct, I will not fly first class. I will just do comfort or something of that nature, because I can't. Like I don't want to do that to people. I'm just not that guy. I mean, people say, "Oh, Marcus, like you're huge." You're like, well, yeah, I am a big ass, ogre or bear, whatever. But I don't want to like take people's money. Like I don't want to be that guy, right? So if I book it on my own, I'll do first class. If it's a client, then I won't. I just won't. So it's a big thing of just sharing with people what makes you different. And that's something that definitely makes you different. Okay? Mark, when it comes to you and your unique selling proposition, why you?
I'm going to ditto what Karina said. That's exactly it. Exhaust the options. This is why I'm independent. I'm not captive. I'm not held to any particular company. And because I'm independent, I'm able to, on the life and the LTC side of things, I'm able to go anywhere I need to go to get it figured out. And health is a big deal. So having choices based upon health and wealth is a big deal. So I don't know what else I can add, but that's very, very good about exhausting the options, and because I'm independent.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? It's a big factor that, so basically, how about this, right, Mark? You are unbiased. You're not somebody who you don't do something for a certain gain, or you don't do something that is from a biased perspective.
Yeah.
You are unbiased in your approach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that a lot of people are not. A lot of people are very much about their own personal gain. As you heard Richard say earlier, bad information, giving people the wrong things to do. Why? To try and line their pockets.
That's right.
So you are an unbiased individual, which is very rare in your space. So you should be chatting about that and telling people that when you are having your perspective calls or engaging people through your content.
Very good. Very helpful.
How about you, Richard?
Well, my unique selling proposition for decades, I can say that, has been this, and I tell it to people. It says, It goes, helping you to protect your dreams so you can sleep better at night. It's totally focused on them, and if they don't like that, they don't want to buy into it, we part ways. It's as friends. But I tell them that's my focus, helping you to protect your dreams so you can sleep better at night. And they go, how do you do that? And they go, well, that's the process. you know, and the process could be deep for some and not for others, to whatever level they want. But they know that that's my focus. Nowhere in there has it got me in, me in there, and they know that they get my cell phone. They can call me at night. They can call me in the weekends. We're going through this, and it's part of that unique selling proposition. I tell people, says probably my craziest experience was my wife and I were on the dream trip of our lives in Ireland. I was on top of a mountain. They have a couple there in Ireland, sitting at the top of and my phone rang, and it was from a client who I didn't have anymore. And and he called me up because he says, I had the client a month ago, and then the owner of the company went with another agent because he sold him a bag of crap for his 90 employees. So employee benefits. So they got the account. Well, he's calling me up and he says, "Hey, one of our employees died." I said, "Well, when did he die?" He says, "Well, he died 2 weeks ago." I said, "Oh, so after the other agent started everything?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Why are you calling me?" "Well, that's right." I said, "Well, it's no problem." I says, "Tell me about it." So I walked through everything with him, and he goes, "I found out from the company, his name was he didn't get an application for life insurance, and his wife is calling up. They're trying to bury the guy." I said, "Oh, that's a horrible situation to be in." I said, "So, well, yeah, you had health insurance when I had the policy, but because he switched it, he should have made sure everybody filled out an application. And unfortunately, dead people can't do that." So, and I basically said, "So here's what you can do." I would go to him and say, "How come you didn't get an application on this employee?" One. I said, "You took an agent of record letter, and then you should have made new applications out when you changed them to another carrier." I said, "Number two, I'd ask him for his errors and omissions policy because you're going to file a claim." and I said, "So you won't have to pay for this. And if he doesn't have that, then you can go after him personally." He says, "That's all I needed to hear." I said, "I'm so sorry I bothered you." I said, "You didn't bother me. You can call me anytime and being a good salesperson." I said, "And if you really want to dump the person or you get a chance to, call me back and I'll take it over and fix all the problems." He said, "Unfortunately, I can't." It was a CFO. He said, "I can't do that because the owner of the company likes this guy." He says, "Well, he should have that conversation of everything I just told you." You know, that's that client-centered, client first, honest educator. I hit all my bells on that. He was very appreciative. I said, "If I can help any of you, anybody else or in the future, you got my number." I never heard from him again, but I gave him what he needed because he had a call from a widow going, I can't bury him." And when he called the insurance company, he said, "We don't have him on our books." And they're not going to add him. I'm telling you, they're not going to add him after he's dead.
No, of course not. That's not going to happen. No, absolutely not. And so, what's great, you all, is these 3 points keep you on track. And so you want to have your personal brand statement. You want to be authentic. You want to share insights. And as you all are building your brand, you want to be active on LinkedIn with just sharing your insights and sharing your expertise and posting. It creates people to want to engage with you, and it generates leads for yourself over time. It doesn't happen overnight, right? But again, it's huge in that regard. Okay? It's all about how you move forward. Any questions, Karina, Mark, Richard?
No, just I don't post a lot and don't do a lot of social media. And most of the time my clients come from word of mouth of existing folks or even past ones. But I need to start doing that.
Yeah, because doing that makes you somebody, and again, you said you never know what somebody reads or likes or is encouraged by and wants to reach out to you. Yeah. I tell you right now, if I didn't do that, where I'm at right now would not be. There's no way.
Yeah. Got to do it.
Yep. And it just takes time. That's all it is. It just takes time. That's all it does.
Yep.
Well, everybody, Emily, any questions, Emily? Yeah, Mark. Oh, okay.
No, I got to run. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, me
very
too,
helpful.
guys. Emily, any questions?
Nope, all good. We will see you again on November 6th. That is the first Wednesday of November. So thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Karina, Mark, and Richard. Have the recording available. I'll send it out so Karina can take her notes on Marcus's quote that he gave her. And appreciate everything all of you do. Thanks so much.
Great. I'll see you tomorrow for coaching.
Sounds good. Tell Jamie I said hi.
I will. All right, bye.
Bye, thanks.